Hey there, people. Welcome. Welcome back if you've been here before. We appreciate you a load if you are one of those. If you're joining us today, we're going to try another one of these old recipes, and we're going to make some barbecue sauce the way Granny used to do it. So, a bit different from what I've done before. I've actually never made this recipe. Stick with me, and we'll give it a try. Alright, so I've got the food processor out, and we're going to start out by just throwing a few things in that. We're going to throw a white onion and a red onion. We're going to throw 3 cloves of garlic and a decent pat of butter, around 2 tablespoons worth. And I'll go ahead and freeze the sound for a second because this is going to get loud. Next up, we're going to take all that we've just blended up, and it's going on the stove to start cooking down. Now, I am going to start putting all of these recipes somewhere online. I think what I'm going to actually do is set up a Patreon. I hope that people are alright with that, and these are really strong onions today. Whew. So I'm going to set up a Patreon, and the way that will work, if you're not familiar, is it is kind of a subscription members thing, I guess you can say. It's a place that I can put a bunch of stuff for you guys for a fairly low price. So, like, you give $1 a month, it helps out the channel, and you get all the recipes. I hope that's alright with people. I hope people don't mind that. So I'll probably go ahead and get that set up and put the link for it below. Again, that way the channel has a little bit of support. We have a little bit of help, because unfortunately barbecue every day, not the cheapest thing in the world. So I appreciate the help. And I'll start getting all of these recipes, both Granny's recipes and my recipes, and putting them up on the Patreon. It's also a great place if you want to make requests or things like that. So I'll link that below, and this recipe will be up there before this video goes out. I'll make sure of that. So I'm going to give this a few minutes, let it cook down, let my eyes stop watering from the onions. I'll be back with you guys. Alright, now I've given this about 5 to 10 minutes, probably closer to 10. It's not fully translucent yet, but it doesn't need to be. I've let it cook down a good bit. Next up, we're going to take these ingredients, and we're going to add chopped tomatoes, and we're going to add some tomato passata. Get those stirred in. And then I'm going to need some brown sugar. And again, you'll notice, even going back to the old recipes, barbecue sauce is always a lot of tomatoes and a lot of brown sugar. That's just the way that it is. That's kind of what makes your normal barbecue sauce. Into that now, I also need to splash some cider vinegar and some mustard. And for this one we are using American mustard, because, well, I don't think I ever saw Granny with any other kind. And then we're adding some Tabasco. Obviously that bit's to taste. And then we're adding some sauce. Some salt, if I get my words out right. Adding some salt to the sauce. There we go. From there, we're going to give all that a really good stir. And then I'm just going to let this cook off until it thickens. And then I'll be back with you guys in... Oh, it's probably going to need half an hour sitting here. Alright, now while that sauce is cooking away on the stove and reducing nicely, I'm going to go ahead and prepare the meat that sauce is going to be going on. Now, Granny's recipe does say sauce for ribs. I've done ribs a couple times on the channel recently, so I'm not going to do ribs. Sorry, Granny. But I am going to follow the rest of what's on here because Granny didn't use this sauce on the grill. Whenever she used to do ribs with this, she would make them in the oven. So this is a great way to show you a way of doing some really nice barbecue in the oven. So what she says to do is you brown off some ribs, basically partially cook them or mostly cook them in the oven, and then once they're sealed, or once they're nearly there, you pour the sauce on top of them, put them back in the oven with the sauce, and then just bake until tender. So instead of ribs today, I've got some nice big pieces of what you might call braising steak or skirt steak. So I'm going to go ahead and throw those in the oven now while the sauce is cooking off, and it'll be ready for the sauce once the sauce is reduced. Alright, now the ribs or the skirt steak, the meat's been in the oven for a bit now, sauce has been cooking away. This next step, I know Granny's recipe does not mention it, but I'm going to go ahead and hit it with our immersion blender thing, just to smooth out the sauce, get rid of any chunks. If you want to leave it chunky, by all means, go for it. But I find that it thickens a little bit better once it's smooth. So I've got that skirt steak cooked a good bit of the way through, and I've got it out of the oven. What I'm going to do now is, before I put the sauce on it, I'm going to go ahead and score some lines in it, and that's just going to give that sauce more places to sink in and add flavor. Kind of turned opposite directions on the tray, of course. Go ahead and do it like that. There we go. And then we're going to take this sauce. Gotta taste it, right? That's good. That is sweet and smoky and tangy. Everything that you want out of a barbecue sauce. Go ahead and pour it over like that. And I'm going to lift up this meat a bit just so that some of that sauce can get underneath as well. And of course, while doing that, I'm going to splash myself with hot stuff, because why wouldn't I? There we go. Leave it sitting in that sauce just like that. And then we're going to throw this back in the oven and let it cook off the rest of the way. Let that sauce get a bit sticky on there, and it's going to be lovely. See you in a little while. Guys, so I've got some of this out of the oven now, and I'm just going to cut it up a bit and see how it's turned out. Now, because of how I want to serve this in a little bit, I'm going to cut it up fairly small. Obviously, you could serve it in bigger pieces if you wanted to. But let's go ahead and get through here. Like so. And then just for the tasting at the moment, I'm just going to take a little corner off with plenty of that sauce on. I'm going to give it a try. Alright, let's see what it's like. That sauce is beautiful. It's really tomatoey, really smoky. Got the nice sweetness along with the smokiness. And it's really made me think of something that I haven't thought about in years probably. When you get a barbecue sauce in the shops now, it's a really dark brown color. But growing up, I remember a lot of barbecue sauces being a lot more red or a lot more light brown. And I'm wondering if they're starting to darken it just so that people can see a visual difference from ketchup. That's got me thinking a bit. But Granny sauce is definitely a win. I'll definitely be using some more of this because it's good. Please try this and you'll enjoy it as well. I'm going to go ahead and plate up the rest of this. I'm going to go watch some TV with Joanne, and just in case you are wondering, I'll probably show a picture just at the end, but I'm basically going to dice this up quite small, bite-sized, and serve it over a bed of mash. Should just be a really nice kind of, nighttime TV watching comfort food meal. I'll show you that in just a second. Alright, so like I said, just giving you a quick look at what I've done. Bed of mash, a bit of milk and butter and salt and pepper in the mash, bit of barbecue meat on top. Nice and easy, tea time. Gonna go see how Joanne likes it, and we'll probably watch a bit of Cook at Any Cost, or Cook at All Costs, or whatever it is. New Netflix show we've been watching. Quite enjoying it.